Hello guys, Bushcraft family back again with another video, and it's late right now, but I felt it was very important for me to make a video about this. Now, I'm not an expert of any means. I do research, I go to websites that I find credible, and I read and I do a lot of research, and it usually from that website, I usually end up by having 30 tabs open, trying to find out more information about the subject that I bring forward to you guys. It's not that I go to, CNN and, oh, there's my news. Yeah, I actually get into the research part of it. And most of the time I enjoy learning more about it. But this one is somewhat disturbing to me. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that in the last few years that they have noticed a decline of birds in the area and stuff like that. And I've mentioned it too. We used to have issues here with crows. I mean, that's why the nickname for our town is called Crow Town, because we had so many of them. They used to go through the trash and spread it all over the place and things like that. But we don't see them anymore. Very seldom do you see a crow come around anymore. And I often wondered, with, the skies filled with smoke. I know on the West Coast, you guys are used to the smoke and everything. It's a different climate. You guys on the West Coast have a totally different climate than we do on the East side. We have very high humidities and things like that. Now, I put a video out about the smoke coming down and what was in the smoke. I know there's probably more stuff in there than I can even name, but formaldehyde. How did I really didn't get into detail how the formaldehyde got into the smoke that was all over the place. Well, when the smoke goes up in the sky, it mixes with the moisture in the clouds, and the ultraviolet rays, the radiation from, because there is radiation in the sky, it's caused from the sun, and it mixes with that smoke, that moisture type smoke, and creates formaldehyde, and that's what we're breathing in. Unfortunately, that's not very good for us, and you can imagine it's not very good for our feathered friends. Now, I'll show you an image, and I'm using StreamYard right now because I didn't want to mess with anything else. So hopefully this turns out. Here you see an image. And this here is, yeah, this is in the last few years. Okay. Now, our birds are dissipating, they're disappearing, and eastern forest birds have decreased by 17%. Arctic tundra birds decreased by 23%, and we keep going down. Western forest birds, which I can understand, they have so many fires out there, 29%. Boreal forest, which I'm not sure what that is, but okay, those are, I think it's the Midwest area, have dropped 33%. Shorebirds, or shorebirds, sorry, have dropped 37%. Now look at this one, grassland birds. This is crazy. 53%. That's what we're losing with the birds right now. 53%. And I want everybody to focus on this picture. This is from, reptile scientists that have come up with this. And what happens when our bird population decreases? Well, first of all, what do birds eat? They eat grains and things like that. They eat berries. They eat stuff off the trees and things like that. Seeds. Yep. And when a bird eats a seed, flies off and dumps his load, dumps his load wherever he wants to, it goes in the grass or in dirt or somewhere, and it repopulates that plant. What else do they eat? Well, they eat bugs. That's probably one of their biggest things that they do. They eat a lot of bugs. Now, you can start going higher on this too. The bigger birds, what do they eat? They eat a lot of rodents, snakes, and things like that. You start taking away that stuff, and we start ending up with plant extinctions, loss of agriculture, increase of pest controls because we are trying to kill more bugs. And then we start seeing spreads of new diseases because there's so many bugs creating new diseases. And this is all proven facts. This is from scientists, the very smart people that figure this stuff out. Now, I'm not going to go into details of why the birds are disappearing and all that stuff. We heard about the flu. Most of these birds are immune to a lot of those flus and things that have come for our chickens and turkeys and things like that. But we could talk about, let me go ahead and get this off of here. We can talk about, things in the air. We have the fires, the smoke. We already know there's benzene and formaldehyde that was in that. We don't know, the stuff that they use to put out the fires. Because it used to be when you used a fire extinguisher to take out a fire, it was very, very dangerous to breathe in the smoke that came from that. Now, I'm not saying there is or not. So, what do they use besides water to put these fires out? Because a lot of times you'll see them drop pink stuff, and it goes down on the fire and extinguishes it. I don't know. Does that have anything to do with metals in the air, so to speak? Things like that. There's going to be the talk, because anytime something starts to happen, something bad happens or whatnot, global warming, that's always the talk. Climate change, but there has been climate change since the first day of Earth. The climate changes all the time. So unless the whole world froze in overnight or heated up overnight, that would have something to do with it. But could it be something out of the airplanes when they fly. I'm not saying what it is, but you can kind of, there's people out there that will say this is a thing. Not too long ago, I think about 7-8 months ago, at the White House, they were talking about ways to control global warming was to block out the sun. If we could spray something in the sky to block out the sun, we would control global warming. And the reason why they talk about this is in the past, there was a volcano and it threw up ash all over the place, and it reduced the temperature of the world by 2 to 4 degrees or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I remember reading an article years ago about it. And this is what they're basing this theory off of. The only problem is they also killed off a lot of things that we need. We have such a delicate in the waters. We have ecosystems and stuff like this. In the air, we have the birds eat the bugs and all that stuff. It's a delicate ecosystem. So when you start messing with God's creation, it'll have it'll have things that may go wrong, things like our birds. There are more birds right now. I think there are over, I think they said 40,000 birds, species of birds. And I didn't know there was this many birds, but evidently there's a bunch of species of birds. But there's like 40,000 species of birds right now that are on the verge of being extinct. 40,000 species of birds. And that's unbelievable. And we don't think about some of the things that we used to see when we were kids and stuff. We used to see the most beautiful birds, yellow speckled. I can't name all of them. And I was surprised the other day when I seen a cardinal. I was like, a cardinal. Why is that? I have one bird that every year comes here and has a nest. I'm sure you guys heard him on my porch sometimes. I call him Robin the Robin. I know. I'm really talented of giving names to animals, but yeah, Robin the Robin. And I don't know if it's the same one or it's rebreeding of ancestor of the one that I seen when I first moved in here. But there's a spot on my garage where they have a nest, and they're always there. And that's usually the only bird I ever see. It used to be your sparrows all over the place, all these other birds, but now you hardly see birds in the city here. And that's, you would see them all the time. And I've got bird seed. I'll put it in my bird feeder, and it almost goes bad. It almost turns to seed because there's so less birds to feed. It's a shame. But I just thought I would, bring awareness to our feathered friends. and give you guys a little bit more information of stuff that's going on and whatnot. I know this video probably won't be appealing to a lot because everybody wants the really, the juicy stuff that's going on in the White House or things like that. But some of this stuff is really good information to know. But until next time, like always, guys, God bless. And see you on the next one.